Every animal on Earth has spent millions of years fine-tuning its biology to match this planet. A lizard can sit on a sun-baked rock all afternoon without a second thought. But us? We physically burn in our own star's light. Look closely at our anatomy, and the design flaws pile up. 4 out of 5 people will experience chronic back pain because our spines compress under Earth's gravity in ways they were never built to handle. And human childbirth is uniquely perilous. Our babies' heads are so large that before modern medicine, giving birth was a leading cause of death. No other mammal routinely dies trying to deliver healthy offspring. The structural errors are only the beginning. Our immune systems regularly launch all-out wars against completely harmless things like pollen or peanuts. Mentally, we are the only species burdened with the conscious terror of our own mortality. Dogs and elephants don't build entire civilizations to cope with existential dread.
Zoom out to our relationship with nature, and the disconnect gets even wider. A healthy ecosystem is a closed loop where predators, prey, and plants keep each other in balance. We refuse to participate in that. We clear-cut the forests, poison the rivers, and heat the atmosphere. When you combine this physical misalignment with an environmental footprint that actively dismantles the local cycle, humanity begins to look like a biological outlier. We behave less like a native inhabitant of this ecosystem and more like a disruptive outsider, a species struggling to follow rules it wasn't built to understand. In 1973, the man who co-discovered the structure of DNA, Nobel laureate Francis Crick, looked at Earth's history and saw a math problem. Crick proposed directed panspermia. Earth is roughly 4.5 billion years old, yet complex organic chemistry appeared just 700 million years after the planet formed. In geological terms, life sprouted overnight on a cooling, toxic rock. Crick argued this happened too fast for random mutation, suggesting the seeds of life were deliberately sent here from somewhere else. This visualizes what scientists have actually found inside space debris. In 1969, a meteorite crashed into Australia. When researchers cracked it open, they discovered over 90 different amino acids, the exact chemical building blocks required for life, traveling through the vacuum of space. We also know biological matter can survive the trip. Take microscopic tardigrades. They have been exposed to zero gravity and lethal cosmic radiation and temperatures near absolute zero, and they wake up completely viable. With life's building blocks riding on asteroids and organisms capable of surviving the vacuum, the possibility of a non-terrestrial origin moves into credible science. It suggests that the first chapter of our evolutionary story wasn't written on this planet, but somewhere else in the galaxy. Mainstream biology, however, has a much more grounded explanation for our physical incompetence. It's a concept called evolutionary mismatch. We aren't aliens, we are just poorly updated. This 3D wireframe shows exactly why our backs hurt. For tens of millions of years, our ancestors walked on 4 legs. Our spine is essentially a horizontal bridge. When we started walking upright a few million years ago, gravity began compressing those vertebrae in an entirely new direction. The sunburn issue is another crude compromise. Early hominids moved from shaded forests to open savannas and needed to run down prey without overheating. We traded our fur for bare skin and sweat glands. We gained the ability to cool down efficiently on the move, but sacrificed our natural protection against solar radiation. The same mechanical conflict explains childbirth. To stay balanced on 2 legs, our pelvis had to become narrow, but at the exact same time, our brains expanded rapidly to process tools and language. Biology wedged a massive skull through a shrinking birth canal, resulting in a dangerous, painful bottleneck. Even our destructive habits and anxieties track back to the savanna. Our neurological wiring evolved in small, isolated tribes, where resources felt infinite and survival was a daily gamble. We are operating a modern, globalized planet using a brain engineered strictly for short-term, local survival. We don't need a spaceship to explain our flaws. We are simply an animal running on a biological framework that got dragged into the modern world before it could finish downloading its final evolutionary updates. But mismatch theory has a blind spot. It explains the physical hardware, but it cannot account for the sheer, terrifying velocity of our cognitive leap. To understand how anomalous our speed is, look at the rest of the planet. Dolphins are incredibly intelligent and highly social. They have been swimming in our oceans for roughly 50 million years, and in all that time, they have never built a single tool. Chimpanzees took a step further, figuring out how to use sharpened sticks about 4 million years ago. But their progress completely plateaued right there. Then there is our lineage. We went from banging flint together in caves to achieving powered flight in what amounts to a rounding error on the geological timeline. In the last century alone, the acceleration compounded exponentially. We bridged the gap from a wooden biplane lifting off the grass to keeping humans alive inside orbiting space stations in a matter of decades. In roughly 2 million years, we transitioned from being a mid-level prey animal running away from big cats to a species that drives autonomous robots across the surface of Mars. Evolutionary biologists point to a few key catalysts: the FOXP2 mutation for speech, cooking to fuel larger brains, and teaching across multiple generations. But even stacked together, these mechanics struggle to explain the sheer, explosive steepness of the curve. The fossil record tells us we were born in the dirt of this planet. But that impossible evolutionary speed has left us disjointed. We are a species that breaks under our own gravity, burns in our own sunlight, and looks up at the stars with a restless curiosity, strangers on our own world, trying to figure out exactly how we got here.